In this lesson, we're going to learn how to put parts into an assembly. Let's start by creating a brand new assembly. Make sure that you've got your tools, options, file locations, document templates set up to a location on your hard drive or on your network where you can access the templates easily and they won't be overwritten or deleted if you reinstall, update, or uninstall SOLIDWORKS. Also, be aware that in your Infinite Skills SOLIDWORKS Working Files folder, there is a folder specifically created for templates. You can copy these templates and put them in the directory that you have set aside in your document templates path. Once that's all established, create a new assembly from your Infinite Skills templates. Remember, the assembly template is the one with the yellow and green symbol, not just the yellow and not the drawing. It's this yellow and green one. Okay, now we have a blank assembly document. Just like just about everything else in SOLIDWORKS, there are multiple ways to get parts into an assembly. One way is to use the Insert Component Existing Part menu item. This brings up the dialog box that I had mentioned before that I'd prefer not to see when I first open up an assembly. This is a great way to put parts into an assembly, but I believe it's a little more cumbersome than some of the other ways. Still, you should know how to use this. If you don't already have the documents open that you want to put into the assembly, then you can use this Browse button. From here, browse to find your Infinite Skills Working Files folder, and Chapter 9 in particular. Then in the motorcycle folder, you should have a good set of parts to choose from. You can set the previews to large icons, and that will help you get an idea of what you're putting into the assembly. Let's put the motorcycle tree top into the assembly. If you just select it here in this window, then click the Open button, SOLIDWORKS attaches the part to your cursor. If you get this cursor close to the assembly origin, you'll notice you get a special cursor and the part jumps so that the part origin and the assembly origin are coincident. So I've just clicked and that placed the part into the assembly. Now notice that the first part that you put into an assembly always has this F in parentheses in front of the part name. That F stands for fixed. Unfortunately, the opposite of fixed is float, which also starts with an F. So if you right-click on that part in the assembly, you can select float from the right mouse button menu. The F goes away, and now you have a minus sign. The minus sign in assemblies means that the part location is underdefined, just like an underdefined sketch in a SOLIDWORKS part. If a part is underdefined in an assembly, you can move it around using the cursor. But it's best practice to lock down your first part in the assembly. The first part can be locked down in any location, but it's best, again, to locate the part origin on the assembly origin. You can also use traditional mates to lock the part. So I'm just going to right-click on this part and set it back to fix. Notice the F returns. Let's insert another part into the assembly. Let's say I want to make a copy of this particular part. So I'm going to hold down Control and drag a copy of that part and just place it in the assembly. Making copies of parts in the assembly is very easy, as you've seen. And SOLIDWORKS will keep track of the instance number. So here we have instance number 2 and instance number 3. Instance number 1 had been deleted as I was practicing putting these parts together. Let's insert another part using another method. If we open a part from our folder, let's find a part to open. Motorcycle fork leg. So this has just been opened in its own window now. And I want to put this into the assembly. One way to do that is to use the Window menu and tile vertically. This allows me to see the entire motorcycle on one side. I'll minimize that. I can see my new assembly that I'm working with over here, and I can see the part that I'm working with here. Just like dragging a part onto a drawing, I can grab this part and drag it into the assembly. So that's a second way to put a part into an assembly. I can also call up Windows Explorer and find my folder and set the view to large icons again so I can see, and take an existing subassembly, for example, the front wheel assembly, and drag it from Windows Explorer into the assembly window and drop it in place. Notice that all of these parts are just kind of randomly placed after the initial part. The initial part was dropped onto the origin for a reason, but the rest of these are just spatially kind of disorganized right now. Another way that I can get a part into an assembly is to go back to the tile vertically and get rid of the fork blade here and show the assembly. And again, tile vertically, grab a part from the assembly. And to do that, I'm going to grab it in the graphics window first, and then I'll grab it in the feature manager, drag it into the graphics window of my new assembly, and drop the part there. You could also copy a part, and I've selected it here in the feature manager with Control C, and come over here to my new assembly window and hit Control V. So there are multiple ways of putting parts together into an assembly. Let's go through those one more time. Insert component, existing part. That was the first way I did it. Second way was to Control drag a part. You can just grab it from a face on here and Control drag. You can insert the part from a tiled window holding just the part. You can insert it from an existing assembly, or you can insert it from the Windows Explorer window. You can even copy and paste a part directly into the graphics window in SOLIDWORKS. SOLIDWORKS was built from the ground up as a Windows application, and so it makes extensive use of Windows-type tools such as copy and paste, Windows Select, Control Select, Shift Select, things like this. Save this assembly because we're going to put together some of these parts in a more intelligent way with some mates and make a real assembly here.